Hello, everyone, and welcome to another video in our Oracle EPM series. My name is Joe Fiorino, and today we are going to be talking about the newly launched PCM agent within the Enterprise Profitability and Cost Management, or EPCM, application. The PCM agent is an intelligent companion that leverages the Fusion Gen AI language model to perform tasks such as interpreting the user's intent, translating that intent into various REST commands, taking users to the appropriate screen, providing a preview before executing a command, and then ultimately executing the command based on the user's intent. Within this phase 1 iteration of the PCM agent, the following actions are supported. You can create models, rule sets, and rules. There is editing functionality, so performing tasks such as enabling or disabling existing rules, as well as adding, deleting, or replacing members within an existing rule. The PCM agent can also be used to run the calculations for a single POV, as well as used to run the out-of-the-box trace report within EPCM. So during today's video, what I want to cover is I want to walk through how to use the PCM agent to create a model, a rule set, and rules. So starting from the home screen in the EPCM application, before we get into the demo on using the agent to create a model, rule set, and rules, I first want to cover how to actually activate the PCM agent within your environment. So if you look on the home screen of this application, in the top row, you will see the PCM agent icon. With this icon appearing, that's an indication that the PCM agent has been turned on within this environment. If this icon is not showing in your current environment and you would like to activate the PCM agent, you would take the following steps. So from the home screen, you would click into the application icon and then click into settings. Now from our settings page, if you navigate to the bottom right corner, you will see an Enable AI section and then a checkbox saying Generative AI. Now what you would do is click into this Generative AI box to ensure that there is a blue check mark. Once you've done that, navigate up to the top of the screen and hit Save. Once you've saved, the last step is to come up to the top right corner of your application and you want to reload your navigation flow. That way, the PCM agent cluster will now show on your home screen. Okay. So now that we've covered how to activate the PCM agent, let's dive into actually using the PCM agent to run some commands. So when you click into the PCM agent icon, this is the screen that will appear. Now, this screen comes with two sections. So the right-hand side of the screen is what we call the agent interaction panel. And this is where you will actually be prompting the PCM agent to run certain commands based on your intent. Now, as you can see, down in the bottom, we have a text box that you can type in, and then you also have various sample commands that appear just above the text box. Now, if you click into one of those commands, what you will see is there will actually be instructions on how to prompt the PCM agent to run this particular command. And now on the left side of the screen, you will see actually specific examples on how to do this. So in this top line, there's an example of saying, create a model called test model with the description, some description text, and then model context of future one, no future one. Okay, so let's go ahead and prompt the PCM agent to create a model. So what we would do is type in create model, and then we will call this the AI test model. Now we will type in a description. We'll say create model to test AI functionality. Okay, so once we've typed in our prompt, we will send that to the AI agent. And now, as you can see on the left-hand side of the screen, you will see a preview of the model we're going to create. So we can take a look and see the name is correct and the description that we provided is correct. So what that is telling us is that the PCM agent has interpreted our input correctly. Once you have determined that everything looks correct in the preview, the final step will be to come back to the right-hand side of the screen and click Run Command. Now, clicking Run Command is what is actually going to prompt the agent to execute the input that you've provided. So we will click Run Command, and now we can see our command has run successfully. And if we flip into the models page, we can now see that the AI test model that we just prompted the PCM agent with has been created. So now that we've created a model, we'll take this down to the next step, which would be creating a rule set. So if we click Create Rule Set, similar to creating the model, we see some instructions, and then additionally on the left-hand side of the screen, some examples on what you might type in to the text box to prompt the PCM agent. So we will come back to our text box and we will say, add rule sets to model, and then type in the name of the model we just created, the AI test model. And now we can start to list out the rule sets we want to create. So we will say test rule set 1, test rule set 2, and test rule set 3. We will then define the sequence that we would like these rule sets to be run. So we will say sequence 100, sequence 200, and sequence 300. And then lastly, we will say enabled yes. So we'll go ahead and send that input to the PCM agent. And we can now see in the preview box on the left-hand side what our new rule sets might look like. So we can see test rule set 1. We have our sequence of 100, 200, and 300 as we go down the list. And then we can also see that the rule sets have been marked as enabled, just as we instructed the PCM agent to do. So now that we see that everything looks good, we will come back to the interaction panel and click Run Command. Okay, and our command ran successfully. So if we go into our designer page and navigate to the AI test model, we can now see that within the AI test model that we created using the PCM agent, we now have these three rule sets that we just used the agent to create. So now that we've created a model and created a rule set, we can now use the agent to create individual rules. So if we come back into the PCM agent screen, similar to model and rule set, we can click create rule to get instructions and some examples in the left-hand side of the screen. So what we're going to do is instruct the agent to create rules within the test rule set 1 that we just created. So to do that, we would say create rules in model AI test model in rule set test rule set 1. And we can now begin to list out the rules we want to create. So we will say test rule 1, test rule 2, test rule 3, we will define our sequence similar to the rule sets. Say sequence of 10, 20, and 30. And then lastly, we will identify these as rules we want to be enabled. Say enable yes. Now that we've completed typing out our prompt, we will send that into the agent. And now once again, on the left-hand side of the screen in the preview panel, we can see a preview of the rules that we just prompted the agent to generate. So we can see test rule 1, test rule 2, and test rule 3 with the sequence that we identified, and they've all been marked as enabled, just as we prompted the agent for. So now that we see this all looks good, we can come back into the interaction panel and click Run Command. So once again, our command ran successfully. So now if we flip back to the designer page, we can see we're in the AI test model that we created. We see the rule sets that we created. And now we can click into test rule set 1, and we can see that these 3 test rules have been created using the PCM agent. Okay, that concludes today's session on the PCM agent. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you all return to our channel for future updates in the Oracle EPM space. Thank you.